Hello everybody, it's me Jones RMJ here. John F. Kennedy International Airport, or JFK, is one of the three major airports that serves the New York City metropolitan area. JFK Airport also sees the most international passenger traffic of any airport in the US, mainly due to it servicing the largest city in the US and one of the most important cities in the world. Unfortunately though, JFK, like New York City's other airports, is old, dated, congested, and is considered one of the worst airports in the country. Thankfully, a new $13 billion plan has come out that will completely redevelop the airport and improve the facilities. This is John F. Kennedy International Airport's $13 billion redevelopment plan. Before we begin, make sure you are subscribed with the notification bell on so you can stay up to date on the latest architecture projects and statistics. John F. Kennedy International Airport was originally called Idlewild Airport after the Idlewild beach golf course that it displaced. It was built to relieve LaGuardia Field, which had become overcrowded since its 1939 opening. In late 1941, the mayor of New York announced that the city had tentatively chosen a large area of marshland on Jamaica Bay, which included the Idlewild golf course as well as a summer hotel and a landing strip called the Jamaica Sea Airport, for a new airfield. Construction began in 1943, though a final layout of the airport had not been finalized yet. The first flight from Idlewild was on July 1st, 1948, with the opening ceremony attended by then U.S. President Harry S. Truman. The Port Authority later canceled foreign airlines' permits to use LaGuardia, forcing them to move to Idlewild during the next couple of years, which will eventually set it up to become New York City's primary international getaway. At the time, Idlewild only had one terminal building, which was later expanded in 1949. Further expansions would come in the following years, including a control tower in 1952, as well as new and expanded buildings and taxiways. By 1954, Idlewild had the highest volume of international air traffic of any airport globally. The Port of New York Authority originally planned a single 55-gate terminal for the airport, but the major airlines did not agree with this plan, arguing that the terminal would be too small for future traffic. Architect Wallace Harrison then designed a plan for each major airline at the airport to be given its own space to develop its own terminal. At the time, this scheme made construction more practical, made terminals more navigable, and introduced incentives for airlines to compete with each other for the best design. The revised plan met airline approval in 1955, with 7 terminals originally planned. 5 terminals were for individual airlines, 1 was for 3 airlines, and 1 was for international arrivals. The airport was renamed John F. Kennedy International Airport on December 24, 1963, a month and 2 days after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. JFK soon became New York City's busiest airport. It had more airline takeoffs and landings than LaGuardia and Newark combined from 1962 to 1967, and was the second busiest airport in the country, only behind Chicago O'Hare International Airport. JFK was one of the only U.S. airports to be served by the Concord aircraft, a supersonic passenger jet capable of traveling faster than the speed of sound. It was operated by British Airways and Air France from 1977 to 2003. JFK was also the first U.S. airport to be served by the Airbus A380, the largest commercial passenger jet. Airlines that operate A380 flights to JFK include Singapore Airlines, Air France, Lufthansa, Korean Air, Asiana Airlines, Etihad Airways, and Emirates. On December 8, 2015, JFK was also the first U.S. airport to receive a commercial Airbus A350 flight when Qatar Airways began using the aircraft on its New York to Doha route. As air travel evolved, JFK's original idea that every airline needed its own terminal soon proved to be inefficient for modern flight schedules, and it suffers from major congestion because of that. Combine this with the outdated layout and facilities, and JFK Airport is due for a massive upgrade. In October of 2018, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo released details of a $13 billion plan to rebuild passenger facilities and approaches to JFK Airport. 2 all-new international terminals would be built, and the total number of gates would be brought up from 128 to 149. One of the terminals will be a $7 billion 23-gate structure that will replace Terminals 1 and 2 and connect to Terminal 4. This terminal would be financed and built by a partnership between Munich Airport Group, Lufthansa, Air France, Korean Air, and Japan Airlines. The other terminal will be a new Terminal 6, costing $3 billion and will be developed by a consortium including JetBlue, RXR Reality, and Vantage Airport Group known as JFK Millennium Partners, and it will replace Terminal 7 and the vacant space of Terminal 6 and will connect to Terminal 5. Terminal 8, though, will remain a separate terminal with American Airlines and its One World Alliance partners operating out of it. JFK's redevelopment will also include adding cars to AirTrain train sets, widening connector ramps between the Van Wyck Expressway and Grand Central Parkway and Kew Gardens, and adding another lane in each direction to the Van Wyck at a combined cost of $1.5 billion. On January 7, 2020, construction began on expanding and improving Terminal 8. This will be the first phase of the expansion. On February 11, 2020, QMO and the Port Authority, along with Delta Airlines, announced a $3.8 billion plan to add 16 domestic gates to the A side of Terminal 4. The main head house will also be expanded to accommodate additional passengers and will open in 2022. The 16 new gates will open in 2023, allowing the demolition of Terminal 2, the consolidation of flights for Delta, and the ability to build a new Terminal 1. An expanded roadway will be complete in 2025. Here are some renderings of the overall redevelopment. Overall, the new terminals definitely look really nice, but I wonder if the layout will really improve congestion because this is adding a lot more gates while not increasing the amount of routes that planes can take when taxiing. In conclusion, JFK International Airport hopes to transform itself from one of the worst airports in the country to a world-class facility. These new terminals and the redevelopment to the existing facilities will definitely improve capacity and the passenger experience, but I wonder if the layout will improve congestion since it's adding gates while not really increasing the routes planes can take when taxiing. Be sure to let me know what you think of JFK Airport's redevelopment plan down in the comments below. Do you like it or dislike it, and why? Thanks a lot for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.